Hello, this is David William Weissner, and this is another episode of David Speaks. Today's episode is going to be about my childhood dreams. I think we all have dreams as children, and a lot of times those dreams fade or change depending on things, on destiny. Um, my dream when I was a child centered around a house, meaning I just I thought I'd be successful in my life somehow. I don't know what really I was gonna do. I know I wanted to help the world in some way, and I but my dream centered around my dream house. Meaning, to me, my dream house was just a little house in the mountains with like either a pond or a lake in the back, and a fireplace and a few bedrooms. It was never a big house. I never dreamed of a mansion. I still don't. I just dreamed of a little house in the mountains. I wanted to go to the Catskills for real, because when I was a child, my parents and I and my sisters, we'd go up to the bungalow colonies every summer in Monticello in the Catskill Mountains, and I loved it. I loved walking around nature. We collect berries. We had salamanders we'd keep and give them food, and then for a few days and let them back out. It was beautiful, and I fell in love with the peace of the mountains, and that's where I wanted to live forever. I'm living in them now. I'm living in the Catskill Mountains, but it's not forever. Um, I'm probably going back to Jersey in a few months, which is my hope. But this little house in my dreams has been such a profound thing in my life. Just a little house. I even wrote something in third grade. We had to write an essay, and I wrote about what I wanted to do. I think in third grade I wanted to be a quarterback, which is really funny to me now. But I said in this essay, I would live in the Catskill Mountains in my little dream house with a fireplace and a pond in the back with fish in it and deer everywhere. And I wrote, I'd have a beautiful wife, and I'd have like 3 cats and 4 dogs, and there'd be deer running around everywhere. And for some reason, I said I would live to be 650 and then haunt the Catskills forever after I died. And I actually said I'd be the wisest man who ever lived, which is a pretty big statement for an 8-year-old. And I still have that essay. My mother found it recently when she moved from her house in Staten Island about 6, 7 years ago. It was very cute. But those dreams of a dream house really haven't changed for me. I still want that dream house somewhere. I think maybe more I'm a New Jersey person now. The Catskills have lost their flavor for me. They're still beautiful mountains, but I think I'd rather live in Jersey now. Jersey gets a bad rap as a state. I don't know why. People always laugh at Jersey on TV and stuff. It's a beautiful state. I love the Pine Barrens and all the way down Route 80. It's mostly trees and beautiful communities. They have green spaces where the municipality makes sure there's a lot of open land and green spaces. It's beautiful. Okay, and I've lived in in central Jersey for a number of years, and I should be going back there in a few months. Um, the Pine Barrens, it's 1 million acres of government protected land. It's been there for generations, so long, and it's really beautiful. So my dream growing up was mostly to be a scientist, to be an astronomer. My heroes were Carl Sagan and and Einstein and all the great scientists. Carl Sagan, he made everything accessible to people, especially children. You know, and I read constantly all the time. I read all Carl Sagan's books. I read the Isaac Asimov's books. I read all about relativity, general and special relativity, quantum physics, everything. I loved it. And I really wanted to be an astronomer. That was my dream. You know, I don't know where I wanted to teach. I wanted to teach. Part of it I wanted to teach at Cornell, where Carl Sagan taught for many years. And okay, so that was my dream, and I really believed I could do it. Even as a teenager, I just thought it was so romantic, just sitting in in an observatory somewhere at night and watching the stars and guiding the planets. I mean, watching the planets, and I just wanted to make a contribution to astronomy and be a scientist. Okay, then when I got to college, I decided to start the prerequisites to be an astrophysicist or a scientist. And I took 3 classes that term. I took chemistry, physics, and calculus. Okay, and I took it, and after just a few weeks, I realized, I said, David, you are now fucked forever, because I don't have a mathematical mind. I'm an artist. I'm a musician, I'm a singer, I'm a poet, I'm a songwriter. I can draw and sketch. Plus, I never paid attention in math in schools. I was a terrible student in high school. Math gave me a headache. I was really delusional. I think I could be an astronomer. Maybe if I had studied math from an early age, but I hated school. I loved to read. I would sit there with my astronomy books during math, and I didn't want the teacher to see me. I would hunker down and I read my books, my physics books, my astronomy books. I understood the English part of it, the philosophy of it, the theory of it. It was no problem for me. I totally understood it, but I never realized it's all done with math. Okay? And then when I went to college that first term, I hit a wall and I got really depressed because this was a real dream of mine growing up. I wanted to be an astronomer. I wanted to be like my heroes, like Einstein, like all these people. I wanted to be an astrophysicist. I wanted to unlock the secrets of the universe. But it just wasn't my destiny. Not only did I not pay attention to school, I couldn't do math for shit. Like I said, I like reading and writing, and I have a literary brain, an art brain. I don't know if that, which is the left side or the right. I don't remember that, but whichever side it is that does math, that's not my side, not at all. So what happened? I hit the wall, literally, and it blew up my life. It blew it up. I had to face reality, and the childhood dream was dead. And I was like 18, 19. Okay, I was in college, and I couldn't do it. I just could not do that kind of math without the background or the propensity for it. And so I quit. Okay, I quit school, and I was so depressed I got heavily into drugs, mainly marijuana and drinking, and eventually LSD and mushrooms. And I started smoking pot every day. And that led me into LSD, and I was so depressed. But I did this summer, in the summer of '89, I did LSD every day. Every weekend for like 3 months with all my friends, all my drug addict friends, and it changed me in ways I can't even explain. It's not that I saw God on it, but it changed me to a spiritual seeker, completely, a spiritual seeker. And I remember laying under a tree in Silver Lake Park and looking up at this blue sky in the tree. It was the summer. It was beautiful, and all I felt was ecstasy. And I saw the tree in the sky, and I forgot my name. I forgot everything, but I felt this oneness with the universe. Like, this is just one. We're all the thought of God. We're all produced by God. We're created by God, and it changed me completely. Not just that one day. It was overall over like the 3 months. And I just realized that beyond anything, what we saw wasn't what exists. Our brains are subjective. Everyone has a subjective experience, meaning the electromagnetic waves that bounce off of everything that let us see everything are different, not only for each person, but for each species. Reality is relative to the observer, which is something that quantum physics talks about very heavily. In quantum physics, they say you cannot observe anything without changing it by your observation. And that's been proven. You can't even find reality. Okay? That's why I loved quantum physics so much, because it bordered so much on philosophy, which I also loved. All right, so that summer, I started reading again. This time with a whole new direction. I started reading spiritual books, religious books. The first book I read, right out of uh, that acid stuff, is Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. And that book changed my life completely. It talked about things I had never heard of. All the religions of the East, of Hinduism, of Buddhism, of I learned about meditation. I learned what reincarnation and karma were. I had never heard these things, you know. Um, and it built a fire in me to become a teacher, a yogi. And then later on, I learned about shamanism, and I studied shamanism, and I studied with Buddhist teachers, meditation, Buddhist philosophy. It lit a fire in me that's lasted to this day. Okay, and that was many decades ago. And I wanted to go to India and find a guru and meditate and pray and become a spiritual adherent, you know. And I did in my own way, you know. And it just changed me so much. You know, I wanted to be a yogi, you know, and meditate and seek truth. And if you look at it, I was trying to seek truth through astronomy and physics when I was a kid. And then I realized that wasn't going to happen because of my math problems. But with spirituality, you can be creative. You can find spirituality through art, through painting, through playing music, through singing, through drumming. The acid, you know, it helped me in that way. But people, I don't think acid is the way to go because it made me crazy. Also, it turned one of my genes somewhere in my body. It turned on the bipolar disease that I have, bipolar disorder through your eyes, through my eyes is the book I wrote about it. Okay, and it had the acid had two effects on me. Okay, one was to really screw up my life permanently with bipolar disorder that I needed medication for, and the other one was to free me, to become a spiritual seeker and a person who wants nothing more than to know the heart of God, to know God. I prayed for wisdom. I prayed all the time. I still pray every day. Okay, and that's my main mode of communication. For a while, I did meditations every day. I studied with a great Buddhist master who was friends and a great student of the Dalai Lama, and I studied with him in Staten Island at the Tibetan Museum. He was a great person. Okay, and like I said, I studied with shaman teachers. I read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books on all the religions, on all the spiritualities, of all the viewpoints of the world. Okay, I wanted to know everything about it, and I still have that hunger, you know. And so that was my childhood dream. And maybe one day I'll get that house, and I really want that house. Because of my disability, I've never been able to work full time and get that house. And I hope one day, now that I'm a writer and an author and I'm published, and through work, even on this, hopefully through this YouTube channel, you know, subscribe, press like, you can help me out, you know. But my way to find my way is my way. And I'm going to leave you with that and just think about it. What is your way? Do you want to find God? Do you believe in God? Do you know who God is? How many gods do you think there are? Are there one? Just think about it. All right, have a good night. Goodbye.